everyone, it's Jananie and welcome back to my channel, The Story Ain't Over. So today I'm coming to you with another TBR video. I've been doing a bunch of these recently, I feel like, but regardless, this month is a special month. The Asian Readathon is going on this month. It's hosted by Cindy from Read with Cindy, and it is a great readathon where you read a bunch of books about Asians by Asian authors, and I am doing this mostly throughout the year anyways, so I thought I would also participate this month. I did participate last year, but I think I epically failed at completing all the challenges, which is totally fine. So hopefully this year will go better. And then I also have a few other books that I'm currently in the middle of that I'm hoping to finish this month. And then during this video, I also wanted to recommend a bunch of books by Asian authors with Asian main characters for you guys to possibly pick up if you are planning to join in on the Asian Readathon. So the Readathon is the full month of May, and the challenges are a lot easier this time around just because of what people have access to right now at this time. I know it might be hard for some people to like buy books or like borrow books or whatever, so a lot of people are just kind of using what they have and what's at their disposal, and I'm kind of doing the same. I'm not buying any new books for this, and I'm not borrowing any new books for this, so I'm just gonna be using what I have with me at home. But regardless, I'm very, very excited, and I did want to mention that this video is being sponsored by Skillshare, and I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Alright, so before I jump into the books I'm going to be reading for the Asian Readathon, I wanted to talk about some of the books that I am currently reading. Funnily enough, all of them feature Asian main characters, so like I'm already winning. So the first book is Of Curses and Kisses by Cynthia Menon. Still in the middle of this. I did talk about this in a previous video or vlog where I was feeling like DNFing this, but I only have 100 pages left. It's not like I was completely hating this, it's just I wanted more out of it, but I'm hoping that the last 100 pages will kind of give me something more. So we'll see about that. And then I'm also in the middle of If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha, and I am loving this, but it's also one of those books that I keep kind of taking my time with. Whenever I do pick this up, I kind of rip through a good like 50 pages, but then I end up setting it down and reading other stuff as well. And so it's been low on my priority list, but I'm hoping to finish this very, very soon. And actually I'm filming this video kind of a week before the month of April ends, so I might actually finish it before May. And then the last book that I am currently reading is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, and I am very excited about this. And it also features a main character named Cordelia who is half Persian, which is awesome, and I am enjoying this a lot. I'm not very far in. I think I'm about 150 to 200 pages in, and it's like a 600, 500 page book. I'm actually planning to dig into this a lot today, so I think there's a possibility I might finish this before this video goes up or before May begins, but we'll see. Alright, so now for the books for the Asian Readathon. So there are 5 challenges for this readathon, and they're pretty simple. So the first challenge is to read a book by an Asian author. It's as simple as that. I don't even think it has to be a book by an Asian author with an Asian main character. I think it just has to be by an Asian author. We're just supporting Asian authors, which is awesome. There are a ton of books that will go for this, so I'm not going to specifically name one. I'm going to be mentioning a lot of books in this video. I'm going to start by mentioning a few for each challenge, and then I have a bunch of other books that I own that I have not read yet that have been on my TBR for a while and that feature Asian main characters or are by Asian authors that I've been meaning to read. So I'm just kind of putting them in this video so that I know what I have and what I want to maybe pick up this month, but also so that you guys can get some recommendations as well. And then at the end, I'll also mention some books that I've read recently that are by Asian authors or have Asian main characters that I'm really excited about, that I love, and that I think you should read. Okay, so the second challenge for the Asian Readathon is to read a book by an Asian author or with an Asian main character that you relate to. So this can be like you relating to them in any kind of way, like maybe in sexuality or in like the type of Asian you are. Like if you are Asian, I'm South Asian, so I'm going to be reading a South Asian book or just something similar to them. So I am hoping to read for this challenge. I have multiple options because I always do this for readathons. So I have these 3 books. So these two kind of go together because they're sequels of each other. But these are the second and third book of the Arusha series by Roshni Chokshi. And they're basically like Percy Jackson but with Hindu mythology and a female main character. And I love it. I've read the first one and absolutely enjoyed it. And I think that Arusha is like a very similar character to me, just in personality, not even like in background. So I thought that that was really interesting. And I am very excited to kind of finally pick these up. They are middle grade books, so they're going to be a lot of fun and kind of whimsical, and they're just hilarious as well because Roshni Chokshi, like Rick Riordan, is hilarious. I've been meaning to read them and have been putting them off, so I'm hoping to just binge these 2 this month. And then the other book that I might possibly pick up for this challenge is Star Daughter by Shweta Thakur. I've mentioned this in a bunch of videos recently, but this book involves some Hindu mythology as well, and it follows a girl who's like half star, half human. So one of her parents is a star. It kind of reminds me of Stardust by Neil Gaiman, but the book kind of follows her going to the celestial court to become her family's champion in like this competition, and the whole premise just is wildly exciting to me, and I'm very interested, so I'm hoping to pick this up as well. I also have one more book for this challenge. I'm just throwing this in here because I just thought of it right now and I do have it with me, and that is Sita's Ramayana. I've mentioned this in a haul recently, I think, but this is a graphic novel retelling of the Ramayana, which is a like major Hindu epic, and I've read other versions, but this is kind of a feminist take on the story, so I am hoping to read this one as well, and it's a graphic novel, so it won't take me too long, so very excited about this. All right, the third challenge of the Asian Readathon is to read a book by an Asian author or with an Asian main character who you do not relate to. So someone who's different from you in some way, similar to the criteria that I was talking about for the previous one. So I have two books for this. So I have I'll Be the One by Lila Lee, and I have The Blossom and the Firefly by Sherry L. Smith. So the reason I picked these two is because this one features a Korean American main character, and this book is a historical fiction actually, and takes place during World War II with two Japanese main characters. So this one is about Sky Shin. She is a plus-size bisexual Korean American girl who wants to make it in K-pop and break down the rules that they have set and show that she can be just as successful as a thin, straight, you know, person. So I'm very excited about this, and I think it's gonna be awesome. I've mentioned this in a bunch of videos recently as well, so I still haven't gotten to it. Hoping to get to it this month. And then Blossom and the Firefly, as I said, is set in World War II, and it follows two main characters. So Taro is our male main character. He is a talented violinist, but he's also a kamikaze pilot, which is insane. And he thinks that he's kind of ready to die for his country before his last mission, but then he meets Hana, which is the female main character, and the description doesn't say much about her, but it does say that she was buried alive in a collapsed trench during a bomb raid, and so she hasn't been the same since then. She does get out of it, but she hasn't been the same since then, and she's been wondering if it would have been better if she died that day, until she meets our main male character, Taro. And this is apparently a love story set in wartime, but with POC main characters, and I'm very excited about this. So yeah, I just think it's gonna be awesome, and the history major in my heart is like very happy about this, so very excited. All right, and then the fourth challenge for the Asian Readathon is to read a book that is recommended by an Asian. So this means you can like pick up a book that your Asian friend recommended to you, or you can pick up a book that an Asian booktuber recommended to you. I am South Asian, so you can pick up anything that I recommend to you. But I am picking up a book recommended by Chloe from Books with Chloe, and that is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. I know that Chloe loves this book. It was one of her favorite books from last year, I believe, and I've been meaning to pick this up for the longest time. It's been sitting on my shelf. I think I tried to start it at one point, but I just wasn't feeling it at the time, so I'm really hoping to kind of dig back into it. And I know that she enjoyed it, but I have heard other people have mixed opinions on it, so I'm interested to see what I feel. But this is kind of like a K-drama. It takes place in Seoul, Korea, and it follows our main character, who is a gumiho, which is like a fox demon, and she eats the souls or hearts of men to stay alive. But this is kind of the story of her accidentally falling in love, so I think it's gonna be great, but because of people's mixed opinions, I'm like, I don't know. So we'll see. I'm gonna like read it for myself and find out, but very, very excited for those. And then the fifth and last challenge for the Asian Readathon is to optionally pick up Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. This is like a group book that they're gonna be picking up, but I don't have that one with me, and I don't really feel like buying it, so I'm just not going to do that challenge. It is optional, so no big deal. But now I'm gonna talk quickly about a bunch of books that I own that are by Asian authors that have Asian main characters, and that I think you'll enjoy and that I am hoping to pick up soon. So the first one is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. I've talked about this recently. I had it in a haul. Everyone has been raving about this book to me, so I really, really want to pick it up, and I think I probably will this month because this was high on my TBR list. Like, I just really want to read it based on everyone's recommendation. All I know about it is that it's kind of like 1984, like it has an Orwellian surveillance-esque vibe to it, and it takes place on like a deserted island. And that's about all I know. The next one is Want by Cindy Pon. I have started this before, and I've tried to read it, and I just wasn't feeling it at the time, so I stopped. But it's been on my TBR, it's been sitting on my shelf for a very long time, and I do want to finish it eventually. It's a book that takes place in the future. It's kind of a sci-fi. It takes place in Taipei, I believe. And in the city, there's a huge kind of class divide. The rich wear these suits that protect them from the really bad climate and the pollution and all the things that are kind of killing the lower classes. And it follows a revolutionary ragtag group of kind of lower class people who are trying to overthrow the rich. And the main character is actually a boy. His name is Jason, and there's also a romance, I believe, between him and like a rich girl, I think. What I read of it so far was really interesting. I don't know, wasn't feeling it at the time. And it's also sci-fi, so I'm really excited about that. But yeah. All right, next I have Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed. This is from a Pakistani-American author, and it follows a Pakistani-American girl who is kind of taken back to Pakistan by her parents, who are very kind of strict and try to force her into an arranged marriage. And it is from an author from that background, so it's a very kind of nuanced portrayal. All of you had so many great things to say about this on a previous video that I did. It was a TBR for the Reading Rush, and all of you said that this was amazing, so I'm very excited by that response, so I'm hoping to pick this up very soon. All right, the next book is Parachutes by Kelly Yang, and I was really interested by this because it follows a main character who is Chinese, and she is an international student who comes to the US to attend university, and apparently there's like a word for that, for like kids who do that, and they're called parachutes. And so Claire is one of these parachutes, and she comes to attend a school in the US, and she stays with a host student named Danny, who is a student at Yale. And Danny is Chinese American, I believe, and she's kind of lived there for most of her life, and she feels that she's always been kind of competing against other like privileged kids who kind of drop in like parachutes. And so it's the tension between these two, but I'm really interested by this portrayal of immigration and of Asians, and I think it's gonna be really cool. It is by an Asian author, so I'm very excited about that. I will say there might be a content warning for this. It says on the back that it's a nuanced story about the immigrant experience and rape culture, handled with sensitivity and care, so just be careful of that if you're picking it up. Also, this is an ARC copy, so this book is coming out later this year. Another book I have here that I'm hoping to read is Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hing Wen. I've talked about this in a bunch of videos. It's been really popular on BookTube. It is kind of a Gossip Girly-esque book where the main character attends a like international school in Taipei, and her parents think that she's going to be like studying and doing a lot of schoolwork, but all of the kids there are kind of more obsessed with the drama and the hookups and all of that. So her experience is going to be very interesting. Next book is Almost American Girl by Robin Ha. This is an illustrated memoir, so it's kind of a graphic novel memoir about a main character who is an immigrant to the US, and this was a unilateral decision by her mother to move to the States to be with her new boyfriend. So the main character kind of has to deal with that. This is just basically her experience, and I'm really interested by that. And then the last of the books that I have not read yet that I'm hoping to read sometime soon and that I'm recommending to you guys is Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nagan. This is the second book in the Girls of Paper and Fire series. So I read that first book I think last year or the year before, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great book. It wasn't like one of my favorites, but I did really enjoy it. So I did get the second book, and it's been sitting on my shelf for months now, and I've been meaning to pick it up. But this is a Asian-inspired fantasy with an FF romance, which I absolutely loved in the first book. It was so darn cute. But it's set in the context of these two girls being taken as paper girls or concubines for the Demon King, and they end up falling for each other instead and trying to find a way to escape. That's basically the first book. So this is what happens after, and I'm very interested by this, but I also have heard some really mixed things about this second book, so I don't know, we'll see, but I really do want to pick it up and kind of see where the series is going. All right, so those are all the books that I have not read yet that I'm hoping to read, so I might pick up any of these books throughout this month, and I'm very excited about all of that. And now I'm just going to mention about 6 or 7 books that I have read recently that are by Asian authors or feature Asian main characters that I think are just awesome and that you should definitely pick up. So if you needed a recommendation for the Asian Readathon, these are amazing. So the first two are kind of biography-esque. So the first one is In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park. This is a memoir by Yeonmi Park about her experience living in North Korea. She was born in North Korea, she grew up there, and her life kind of takes her on a journey into China, into South Korea, and she's trying to escape North Korea basically. And this is just one of the most moving stories I have ever read and life experiences that I've ever read, and honestly it's just one of my favorite books of all time now, and it was just incredibly eye-opening, so highly recommend this one. The next book is one that I read very recently, and that is Kim Ji-young, born in 1982. So this is kind of a biography-esque novel about a woman who is living in South Korea, and it's basically her life story of what it feels like to be a woman living in South Korea and the lack of gender equality that she experiences there. It's just really, really interesting. It also features a lot of like footnotes of facts as well, so I thought that that was really interesting. The next book is Anna K by Jananie Lee, which is a book that I loved to pieces. It is so much fun. It is YA, but it does not feel like a YA book in some ways. This book is a retelling of Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, the classic, but it really does feel more like Gossip Girl to me. And it features a main character who is half Korean, and the author is Korean as well, so that was really great. And it's honestly such a fun book with a great romance and just some really interesting and flawed characters, which I thought was so well done. And the writing in this is just amazing, so highly recommend this. And then the last 3 recommendations here that I have are just quick ones and ones that I didn't love to pieces but were just still really great. So first one is Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. Anything by Mary H.K. Choi is fun and great. She has a really great sense of atmosphere. This book is set in New York, and the main character in this book is biracial. I believe he's half South Asian. I don't remember which country. I think it might have been India or maybe Pakistan, but he's also half Korean as well. Another great one is This Time Will Be Different by Misa Sugiura. The main character in this book is Japanese American, and there's a bit of history involved with this book as well, especially to do with Japanese internment, so that was a really interesting part of this book as well. And then I'd also recommend anything by Sandhya Menon, who is a South Asian Indian American author with a bunch of books with Indian American protagonists. I highly recommend Something About Sweetie, which is the one that I read most recently and absolutely loved to pieces. Such a cute book. Highly recommend. And all of her books are basically rom-coms, so it's just a fun, light read. Alright, but those are basically all the books that I wanted to mention today. That was a ton of books, and I'm sorry if I bored you to tears with that, but I just really wanted to recommend all of these. I think so many of them are so great and have some really great stories to them about Asians, and I just love that. And so I'm really hoping to get to a bunch of these this month and kind of complete all of the challenges for Asian Readathon while also finishing the books that I'm already in the middle of. But now I'd like to talk a little bit about the sponsor for this video today, and that is Skillshare. Skillshare is an awesome resource. It is an online learning community full of thousands of classes for different kinds of disciplines and any kind of interest that you might have. There's classes on graphic design, illustration, film, TV, creative writing. There are just so many different things that you can learn on Skillshare, and I've been taking a few classes and have just fallen in love with it. It's definitely a place for creative and curious people to find an outlet and find ways to build their own skills. And Skillshare is really affordable. It is less than $10 a month with an annual membership, so it's really great. And I've currently been taking a really great class called Writing Character-Driven Short Stories by Yi-Yoon Lee. So I want to highlight a creator on Skillshare that is Asian, and Yi-Yoon Lee writes short stories, and she's a critically acclaimed author, and I've learned a lot from her class, and I'm hoping to write a few short stories very soon to kind of get my creative juices flowing, because I've been working on some long projects recently. But I would love it for you guys to join in on the fun with Skillshare, so click the link down below in my description to get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium so you can access all the classes and all the great skill building opportunities. It is a great way to pass some time and just feel creative, so highly recommend. But that is about all I have to say for this video. I really hope you enjoyed hearing all my recommendations and all the books that I want to read this month. I would love to hear from you guys if you are planning to join in on the Asian Readathon this month, but even if you aren't, I would love to hear what you guys are reading this month, and let me know if you guys have read any of the books on this TBR. I always love hearing from you guys which books are your favorites and which ones you love, because that does actually affect what I'm planning to read next. So I would love it if you guys let me know which of the books I mentioned today are your favorites. But that's about all I got. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. And if you haven't already, go check out my links down below to my Instagram, my Twitter, and all of the other things that I do. And you know, go hit that subscribe button if you like watching my face talk at you about books. Go ahead and do that. But I will see you in my next video. So please remember that this story ain't over. Bye.